All right, so just finished cutting another yard today with my new weed whacker. I didn't cut the whole yard with my whacker, but did all the trimming with my whacker. Because the whacker that I had before, which was just yesterday, I had it for about almost a year. I actually had it loaded on my trailer. The job I did yesterday was just a empty lot with a bunch of weeds. So I'm just going through there whacking away with my whacker. And that was the only job. So by the end of the day, I put my whacker on my rack and drove home. And when I got home, I saw that my family was standing outside getting ready to go get some ice cream. So I just pulled up and left and went with them to get some ice cream. When I got home, got ready to unload my trailer and take my weed whacker off, the whacker was not there. It was missing. So I'm like, what the hell happened? Because the last job I did, I was only whacking away. And so I decided to check my footage from my camera at home, and lo and behold, there was no trimmer on my rack, completely gone. So I'm thinking that when I put my whacker on my rack, I must not have latched it in or secured it, because that's the only thing that makes sense. And when I realized that I had left it, I actually drove back to the scene of the crime to see if I could find it there on the lot. And of course it was gone, because I know for sure that I actually put it on the rack. But nonetheless, I'm assuming that it must have fallen off, because it was a pretty bumpy ride leaving the site and going back home and everything. I know there were a bunch of bumps that if that thing was loose, it might have flown all over the place. But I was hoping that I might be able to find it on the street when driving back, but no such luck. So anyway, I had to go to Weingarts in Farmington, Michigan. After looking at some YouTube videos on, since I was going to replace my whacker, I wanted to know if there were better whackers out there. I heard that steel was a better one because I had an Echo 2620. That was the one I had. And I didn't realize it. Well, I kind of realized it. I had the residential model of that. The one I got today at Weingart is actually the 2620T, which states it's for professionals, or I think it's professional use and not residential. So I used that for the first time today. Pretty good job. Feels kind of good. I almost, with my previous whacker, I noticed with the 2620 residential, I noticed that when I would trim and go backwards, it cut a lot better that way, but I would always find debris being thrown in my face and everything, and that was a major deal for me. A couple of guys that I spoke to said you just have to get used to walking forward with it, and maybe you get a better cut. But so far with the previous one, that wasn't working as well. It's almost like I'd go forward a couple of feet, and then once I zip back, that's when the real cuts took place. So with this one, I'll play around with it and see how it goes. And I also, after I got this one from Weingart, just out of curiosity, I also went to a pawn shop to see what kind of options they had in terms of weed whackers. But they had ones that they were selling that were comparable prices in terms of combination kits and everything. But these bad boys were like oily and looked like they had been leaking and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to take any chances. I'm assuming that at this particular point, any equipment I'll get should be new, and then that way I could get it serviced and not have to worry about where it was before, who owned it before, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just did a quick, well, today was a big job because I had this slope that I actually have to cut, and every single time it's a new challenge. Before I had nightmares about this particular slope, because I'm literally turning sideways on my mower at a very steep angle during certain portions of this, and I used to have nightmares about it, but now I'm slowly getting over the fears of the slope. I mean, as long as I'm paying attention and not going too fast, I'm actually getting the hang of it a little bit. And I actually started this one first, and actually the first couple of times when I did this job, I actually did the slope portion last, because I was intimidated by it, and I went ahead and did the other ones with the other parts of the property without issue. So this time today, went ahead with my new whacker. I guess maybe I was hyped up from having my new whacker. I went ahead and did the sloped portion first, and it was a challenge. I mean, it took me almost an hour just to do that one sloped portion. And then I finished the rest of my areas to keep my cut time within about an hour plus for this particular one, since right now I'm solo dolo. So typically with my partner, we'd get this job done in about an hour with both of us. But now I'm just doing the cut by myself, and doing the trim by myself and doing the blow by myself and doing it all by myself. So, but that's cool. Like I said, I just spaced my jobs out over a couple of days, and I can knock it out. So this was a pretty decent size one. Again, about an hour of cutting and almost an hour of trimming and blowing and you know, whacking away and all that. Anyway, I am out. I just wanted to test out my new whacker, and Blue signing out.